Welcome to Meteorology Matters.
Great to be here.
Today, we're stepping into something, well, pretty unique, I think.
Definitely. A massive online gathering, right,
Yeah,
of weather and climate experts.
exactly. We've been looking at the details on this. It's basically a huge multi-day live stream.
Uh-huh. Scientists talking directly about what they do, their work.
Yeah, so in this Meteorology Matters discussion, we want to sort of unpack what makes this event tick,
Right, like its purpose, when exactly it's all happening, the format.
who you're going to hear from, and, I mean, the sheer range of science they're planning to cover. It's huge.
It really is.
And why does this matter to you listening? Well, because the science these folks work on, I mean, it touches everything, doesn't it?
Absolutely. From the weather you check on your phone each morning to, the big long-term climate shifts that affect our future planning.
And this event seems like a very specific, almost deliberate effort by scientists to connect directly with the public about it all.
Yeah, cutting through the noise, maybe.
Okay, so let's get into the specifics.
Well, the first thing that jumps out is just the scale and the format. It's kind of a live stream marathon.
Marathon is right. When does it kick off?
It starts Wednesday, May 28th. That's 1 p.m. Eastern Time.
Okay, so 10 a.m. out on the West Coast Pacific time.
Right. And it's not just, an afternoon thing.
No, definitely not. This thing is scheduled to run for 100 hours straight.
100 hours.
Non-stop.
Yeah. All the way through Sunday, June 1st.
Wow.
Expected to wrap up around 5:30 p.m. Eastern, so that's 2:30 p.m. Pacific.
And people can just tune in.
Yep, streaming live on YouTube.
Okay. And the basic idea behind these 100 hours.
Well, it seems pretty straightforward. Participating scientists, they each get about 15 minutes.
Just 15 minutes to talk about their specific research.
Exactly. Explain what they do and why it's valuable. It's really scientists in their own words,
Yeah.
explaining their little piece of the big puzzle.
And the motivation behind it all. Why do this?
Well, the organizers, like Mark Alessi from the Union of Concerned Scientists,
They state the purpose is really about sharing weather and climate science directly with the American public.
okay, so public outreach is key.
Definitely. They want to demonstrate just how vital the work is and also, it seems, highlight the impact of recent funding cuts.
Ah, okay. So there's that context, too, funding reductions for research.
Yeah, across federal agencies and academia as well.
So if you connect those dots,
Yeah.
while they might frame it as nonpartisan science sharing.
It definitely feels like a response, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely. A response to policy decisions that have, cut funding pretty significantly for climate and weather research.
Right. You hear about agencies like the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, NOAA or NASA, the Department of Energy.
And universities, too, apparently having research funding withheld.
It sounds like, an action born out of necessity almost. There was a quote from one scientist involved, Kate Marvel. She called the talks the scientist-ease thing we could do.
Hey, yeah, that kind of captures it.
It really does. It's like they're using their core strength, the science itself, to communicate why it matters.
And to show the public, hey, look at the return you get on investment in this publicly funded research.
Exactly.
And the timing adds another layer here, doesn't it?
How so?
Well, the event happens to coincide with the end of NASA's lease at Columbia University for the Goddard Institute for Space Studies, GISS.
Oh, right. The big climate lab. I heard about that lease cancellation back in April.
Yeah, forcing those scientists to work remotely now.
Yeah.
So there's that backdrop.
Yeah,
And it's also happening right as hurricane season officially begins.
good point. A time when, accurate weather forecasting and understanding the atmosphere are just critically important.
Absolutely critical.
So, okay, who are these folks? Who is actually showing up to talk for 100 hours?
It seems like a really broad mix. Scientists from all over the
Government
country.
agencies, universities?
Former government officials, too.
Yeah.
Looking through the schedule, you see quite a variety.
Any examples jump out?
Sure. Like the very start, Wednesday afternoon, features talks live from that NASA GS lab during its final hours there. Kate Marvel speaking then.
Wow, that's symbolic.
It is. And there are panels, too, like one on Wednesday afternoon with employees who were terminated from NOAA, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, sharing their stories.
And you mentioned former officials.
Yeah, like there's a panel Wednesday evening with former directors of the National Weather Service.
Oh, really? Like who?
Joe Friday, Louis W. Uccellini. Big name.
Definitely. Plus, they've got these primetime talks scheduled each evening highlighting different researchers.
Yeah, the speaker list looked pretty packed with prominent scientists throughout the week, covering, a really wide range of expertise.
It really seems to underscore the sort of the depth and breadth of the scientific community that's pulling together for this.
Absolutely.
And that range is reflected in the topics too, right? I mean, the science itself.
Oh, totally. It's incredibly diverse.
Yeah.
Mirroring all the different work that's being done. You can learn about, well, pretty much anything weather and climate related.
Like how climate impacts agriculture.
Yeah.
That involves work from the EPA, the Environmental Protection Agency, and USDA.
Right. Or you can get into really fundamental atmospheric stuff, clouds, thunderstorms, tornadoes. That's a lot of NOAA's area.
And ocean dynamics too, I saw, like ocean heat, acidification.
Yeah. And the carbon cycle.
Yeah.
Key areas for both NOAA and NASA research.
Plus things like the water cycle, air quality. You see groups like UCAR Sayed involved there in education and research.
Drought, floods, how we measure precipitation, El Nino, La Nina patterns, all really crucial NOAA topics.
Even glaciers are on the list. That's often USGS work, right? The Geological Survey.
Correct. And sea level rise, which involves a whole bunch of agencies and groups like UCAR Site again.
And even the basics, like weather stations, how we measure coures in the atmosphere.
Like the work at NOAA's Global Monitoring Lab, that's featured. Even water quality is included, linking back to the EPA.
It's an incredibly long list. What it really highlights, I think, is how interconnected all this science is.
Exactly. You can't really understand hurricanes without understanding ocean heat.
Or climate change without understanding the carbon cycle. It all fits together.
And this event seems designed to showcase that interconnectedness, that whole system.
Yeah, it's not just a random collection of talks.
No, it feels like a demonstration of the huge body of work needed to understand our planet's complex systems.
That level of detail in both the speakers and the topics really hammers home the event's goal, doesn't it?
It does. Showing the public the specific, valuable work that's actually happening, or maybe was happening at full capacity.
Okay, so we've covered quite a bit here. The sheer scope of this Meteorology Matters event is pretty staggering.
Yeah, from the long list of experts sharing what they know to that incredibly wide range of science topics they're presenting over 100 hours.
It's clear that this push, this effort to connect complicated scientific work directly with the public, feels really crucial right now.
Especially, when you think about the context that sort of sparked it, the challenges around funding and staffing in the science community.
So, reflecting on something like this, what does it maybe mean for you listening?
Well, perhaps it's just a powerful reminder, that the science behind weather prediction, climate understanding, it's not abstract.
Right. It really does impact your daily life, and it shapes the big decisions we have to make about the future.
And maybe it shows how engaging directly with these experts, hearing it straight from them, can actually deepen your own understanding, cut through some confusion maybe.
Definitely.
So here's maybe a final thought for you to chew on.
Okay.
In this age where there's so much information flying around, and let's be honest, misinformation too, how important is access to this kind of unfiltered, direct communication from the scientists themselves?
Yeah. How does that potentially shape public understanding?
And maybe foster a deeper appreciation for just how valuable this research really is. Something to think about.
That's a great point to end on. If you found this Meteorology Matters discussion valuable, definitely make sure to follow meteorologist Rob Jones. He shares a lot more insights into weather and climate.
Where can folks find him?
You can find him on Instagram. His handle is just meteorologist. On TikTok, he's TV meteorologist. And over on YouTube, search for Rob Jones Hurricane.
Okay.
And on that YouTube channel, you can also find the Meteorology Matters podcast playlist with our other discussions.